This episode of Rynn's Rambles is brought to you by viewers like you. Thanks to all my patrons.
What up, everybody? So, real talk, I have been agonizing over my first full-blown YouTube video on here. I was like, let me wait until I get my camera figured out and get my microphone set up and this, that, and the other. And I kind of realized it's like, you're never going to start something until you just start it, you know? You can always get better, you can always do different things, but there comes a point where you just kind of have to take the leap or you're never going to take it. I've been talking about making long form videos, doing YouTube content for years now, and it's never going to happen unless I just fucking do it. So this is me just fucking doing it. Recently, I cleaned out the trunk of my car. Now, the trunk of my car is a real no man's zone, or at least it was, because, your girl got the tisms and the ADHDs and the executive dysfunctions and all of the alphabet soup issues. And so literally, I think I've been through 2 moves, and the trunk of that car had not been cleaned out thoroughly, fully cleaned out in embarrassingly long time. It has been a long time. And so something that had been sitting in the back of it was this. Now, this thing right here, children, for all of you who might be wondering what this archaic device I'm holding is, this is my CD case, the CD case that I had when I was a teenager. It used to have a cover, it used to have a little cloth cover and zip up. I don't know what happened to that. I remember the CD case cover. I got it at Walmart, I think. And it had America written on it, but it was spaced kind of weird. So I specifically remember thinking that the name of the brand was AIM Rika. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize, it's spelling America. I thought it was 2 different words. Anyway, I don't know why you need to know that, but there you go. And so it's my CD case. It's my CD case, y'all. And I was listening. I have a CD player in my car, so I popped in this Jump 5 track right here, or this Jump 5 CD. And I was jamming to the tunes. I was pleased to remember. I can remember every word. I remember every single word.
Together forever. It's like I got nothing to do but think about you all the time in the world.
But I was like, I think it'd be fun to kind of go through this, right? I haven't really looked at this in any detail since years. When I was younger, I used to have it meticulously organized. I had it alphabetical and shit. And I used to take such good care of it. And I was reflecting. I was really thinking about it. I'm not to get overly philosophical here, but I really do think there's a sense of I don't know, a sense of intentionality to listening to music that came with it coming on physical, media in general. I think physical media came with a certain sense of intentionality that isn't there anymore. Now that you can just go to a streaming service and watch a movie or listen to a song or something, and you have access to pretty much the world library of media at your fingertips, it's nothing to do that. And honestly, there's such an overwhelming abundance of options and choices that it can be a little overwhelming sometimes. Did I say it's so overwhelming? It can be overwhelming. You get the point. There's just so many choices that it's almost you get less choice paralysis. I think Drew Gooden made a video on this once about just choice paralysis of just having too many options. So now I can of course pull out Spotify and listen to any music, but honestly, half the time I'm just what the fuck do I want to listen to? Do I want to listen to the same Hosier track again? Do I want to listen to the same Lana track again? It's just the same 5 things, because otherwise I get overwhelmed listening to new music. But the intentionality of going to a store, we used to have a brick and mortar music store where you would go and buy CDs. And for me in particular, this is a big thing because, so I was raised Christian, as most of you know, and my parents were just hardcore evangelical Christians. And so I was not allowed to listen to very much secular music at all. In fact, I remember very distinctly the first time I bought a fully secular CD. I was 12 years old. It was at the media play going on a business sale. My mom took me because she wanted to get a few things, and I found a copy of Hillary Duff's Most Wanted, and I begged her for it, and she told me I could have it. I think I convinced her because it was she's on Disney Channel, Mom. She's not bad. She doesn't cuss or anything. Please, can I have it? And she let me have it. And that was the first secular CD that I got. But before that, I listened to pretty much all stuff that you could buy at the Christian music store. That was where I got my music. So while everybody else was listening to Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys and all that kind of stuff, I would listen to that sometimes at my neighbor Emily's house. Shout out to Emily if you see this. Hi, Emily. That was my best friend in kindergarten, and she lived next door. and her family would let her listen to secular music. So when I was at her house, we could listen to Britney Spears, but that was not a thing in my house. It was like, if my parents heard one cuss or one like sexual innuendo, it's out. So this was my bread and butter. So this first CD that I was listening to was Jump 5. Jump 5 was an early 2000s pop band kind of thing. The funny thing is they were marketed as a Christian band. They were sold at Christian music stores. A lot of their music was pretty much just pop, as I recall. I listened to this one in the car, and I was like, this is mostly just like pop music, like thinking about, having fun in the summertime and like generic teen love and stuff like that. A lot of it was not explicitly religious, which is probably why I enjoyed it. But yeah, Jump 5 was really fun. They were are a pop band. You may have heard some of their music. They were on the Lilo and Stitch soundtrack, the Hawaiian roller coaster ride. That was Jump 5. So they were also owned by the mouse at some point. So yeah, Jump 5. I remember at one point one of the girls, it was 3 girls and 2 guys. One of the girls left the band at some point, so it was Jump 4 for like 1 CD, and then I think they broke up. But yeah, so Jump 5 was a classic. This is their second CD, I think, their second album. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed the first one more. I don't think I have the first one in here, but the thing that I remember about their first album was they basically they had a cover of Proud to Be an American, because it came out like right after like 9/11. It was like, it came out like 2001 or 2002, and so there was like a dedication to like, I think they put it on there because of 9/11, and it's just surreal. I don't think people who weren't like alive during the time of 9/11 or like the immediate aftermath and remember like what that was like, how it like impacted culture. Like if you watch the Defunct Land, a documentary about the jingle for Disney Channel, there's a segment where he like shows the interstitials from Disney Channel around that time where they were just talking about 9/11. It was so weird. Like being a kid during 9/11 was so strange, because like you went from like probably never having even heard of like Afghanistan or whatever to like that being on the news all the time, and then people would just talk to kids about it. Like it was just a thing. And like I didn't know what like Pakistan and Afghanistan, I didn't know what these places were outside the context of President Bush says that we're like invading them or something. I didn't know what was going on, but people would fully put like just straight up like American propaganda in just like music and TV, Disney Channel, just like, man, 9/11 was crazy. Like it was a surreal time to be alive, truly. Because when you're like 9 years old, as I was when 9/11 happened, and it's just like, what? I remember being very confused. But anyway, that's not on the CD. That's on their first CD. But I just remember that they had that. Let's keep going. So this one is Carrie Underwood's Some Hearts. I think I got this one when I was a little older, like maybe high school. This is after my mom had lifted the secular music embargo a little bit. Still no cusses or sex, mind you. But, just a few things were allowed. So this one was Carrie Underwood's Some Hearts. This one features Don't Forget to Remember Me. That's a classic one. Some Hearts. Yeah, that's a good one. Jesus Take the Wheel, of course. Before He Cheats is on here. Yeah. There's some real classics on here. I remember when Carrie Underwood won American Idol. I was a big fan of American Idol growing up. So yeah, this was, I think, her debut CD, and it has most of her classic hits that I still enjoy to this day. Next on the list is Nicole Nordeman, the Legacy EP, I think this was. This one just had Legacy Radio Remix, and This Mystery. So it was like a little EP. It was just a short one. Nicole Nordeman was like, I want to say she was Australian, but I may have made that up. Maybe I made that up. I don't remember. Hang on. I might be mixing her up with somebody else. I think I'm mixing her up with somebody else. But yeah, so Nicole Nordeman was another just like contemporary Christian singer. She had a pretty voice. Next is another Nicole Nordeman, Live at the Door. So this was a live CD. Growing up, I never really liked live CDs. To this day, I still don't, because it included a lot of extra stuff, audience feedback, the chatter of the artist, and like cheering and stuff. I just prefer the like studio recordings, to be honest. This next one is Fernando Ortega. Fernando Ortega, he was kind of, I want to say he was like a Christian, oh God, what's the name of that one? I want to say James Earl, that's not right. James Taylor, I think? He's kind of like a Christian version of that guy whose name I can't remember. He had a couple of good ones, but again, these are like contemporary Christian songs. Carl Carty, Unfailing, was another contemporary Christian guy. He was kind of minor, but he was kind of big in the circles that I was in. I think he came to sing at our church one time in like at a youth conference or something. So I feel like I saw him live at some point. Now here's where we get the good stuff. Barlow Girl. So Barlow Girl. So I believe this was their second studio album. This was their How Can We Be Silent album. So Barlow Girl was three sisters named, I don't remember what their first names were, but their last name was Barlow. And their big thing was that they talked a lot and sang a lot about like not dating and just waiting for like their perfect godly man to like show up and marry them or whatever, like court them. It was like traditional, like no date.
So what? I'm not your average girl. I don't meet the standards of this world. Chasing after boys is not my thing. See, I'm waiting for a wedding.
So there was this period. Okay, I feel like I have to like give a backstory for some of the stuff for anybody who didn't like grow up in evangelical circles. There was this thing where like in evangelical circles where like courting was big, and it was like, we don't date like because that's just going to prepare you for divorce. Like you find someone at your church or something, a man pursues you if you're a girl, and like, you know, gets permission from your parents to court you, and then like he'll like take you out on some like supervised. They're not dates. You're courting. It's a courting period. You're not supposed to call them dates. There was a whole thing. There was a book called I Kissed Dating Goodbye, which funnily enough, I'm pretty sure the author of which like totally walked back later. Like they later came out and was like, yeah, no, that was some bullshit. I'm sorry. I totally don't agree with what I wrote in that book anymore, which I can definitely relate to writing stuff that you no longer agree with whatsoever. But I just think that's funny because that was a huge movement in like conservative Christian circles. But yeah, that's what I remember about Barlow Girl. This one is the soundtrack to Amazing Grace, the movie Amazing Grace, about the dude who wrote Amazing Grace, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, by the way, if you ever want to go back and watch that, as a young Benedict Cumberbatch in that movie, pre-Sherlock. Natalie Grant, Awaken. Natalie Grant is another name that'll probably be familiar to certain people, but other people might be like, who the hell is that? This one had some classic tracks. Something Beautiful. What Are You Waiting For? I remember that one. That was on the radio, like the Christian radio, like all the time.
So you wanna change the world? What are you waiting for? You say you're gonna start right now. What are you waiting for?
Okay, Switchfoot. Switchfoot's another big one. So this one's Learning to Breathe by Switchfoot. I think I had all Switchfoot's albums, at least up until a certain point. I had all of their albums. I was a big fan of Switchfoot. Switchfoot was another one of those like kind of edgy Christian bands. Like it was cool to like Switchfoot. So I really liked them because again, it was like fun to listen to. It wasn't just like the same boring schlock that was on Christian radio all the time. So yeah, I had all of Switchfoot's albums for a while. This one is The Rebirth by Kirk Franklin. That's a classic one. That one has He reigns, and has some other like Hosanna forever we worship you. So that was big in like black Christian circles. I'll see. I used to do this so delicately back when I had to take care of, again, you know, like I had to take such good care of them because this is the only way I could listen to music. I couldn't just this was before I could even just pull it up on YouTube or whatever for some of this. Here's another one. So this is Super Chick. Super Chick. This one is the album Beauty from Pain. I wore this one out. Oh my God. Anthem, Pure, Bowling Ball, We Live, One Girl Revolution, Battle Mix. One Girl Revolution was a song that was used in Cadet Kelly. So again, a Disney song.
I'll be everything that I wanna be. I am confidence in insecurity.
Another fun fact about Super Chick that ties into Barlow Girl, they had a whole song dedicated to the Barlow Girls where they praised them for their no dating lifestyle or whatever.
All the boys in the band want a Valentine from a Barlow girl. Boys think they're the bomb, 'cause they remind them of their mom.
Which I loved at the time, cringe at now, but it is what it is. Third Day, All I Have to Give. Third Day is another one that was big in the contemporary Christian circles. This one is Reuben Studdard, I Need an Angel. Reuben Studdard, I believe, was like the winner or runner-up of like American Idol season 2, I want to say. The Benjamin Gate. This one, I want to say they're British or something. This was the Benjamin Gate Untitled. Fun fact about this one. So this one had a lot of tracks that I don't quite remember. They were like rock, I think. But the weird thing about it was like, there was like a hidden bonus track on it. Like if you put it in your CD player, it would read as if it had 70, it was like some absurd number of tracks, like 74 tracks or something like that. Which is really strange. And so it would be like, it would play like maybe 12 tracks, like a normal length of it for a CD. And then it was like 70 or 60 or whatever tracks of silence. And then at the end of that was a bonus track. And to this day, I don't know if like the CD player I used was fucked up or if they meant for it to be like that. Because it was like an extended period of silence and then there was just a bonus track. Mark Schultz is another one that was, you know, kind of big on Christian radio for a while. This is another Switchfoot, probably the best Switchfoot album in my opinion. Beautiful Letdown. A lot of these songs still hold up. Meant to Live, This Is Your Life, Ammunition is a great one. Dare You to Move is an amazing one. Beautiful Letdown is a really good one. Adding to the Noise is one of my favorites. To this day, I think the lyrics are probably even more meaningful in today's world. I sound like such a boomer, oh my god. But I really did enjoy this one. I really did enjoy this track. Reliant K. Now, Reliant K is one of those that was practically mainstream. Like it's a good chance you've heard of Reliant K, even if you didn't grow up super Christian. They were pretty big. They were like classic like punk rocker. They were Christian punk rockers. And The Anatomy of Tongue in Cheek, great one, great album. Again, these hold up. I would still listen to these and bop these, even though they were technically Christian music. Most of these were still very, very legit. This is who I was talking about when I was saying Nicole Nordeman was Australian. Michelle Toombs was Australian. Michelle Toombs, yeah, so she's just Australian. I mean, she's not just Australian. I'm sure there's other things about her. I don't remember a ton of this, but I do remember that she had like a chant. It was like a Eastern Orthodox chant or something. Like, it was interesting. Not a God by Bill and Cindy Foote. Again, that's kind of niche. That was probably big in my church, but I don't think most people would know that. And then this is another Super Chick album, Karaoke Superstar, which honestly is another really good Super Chick album. I think it holds up. And this has the original One Girl Revolution that was on Cadet Kelly, as well as I think this one has the Barlow Girls song. Now there's a few bonus ones that didn't fit into the case or fell out at some point or whatever. Stephen Curtis Chapman. Again, some people will really recognize that. Other people will be like, who the hell? But Stephen Curtis Chapman is here. Nicole Nordeman, Brave. This was probably my favorite Nicole Nordeman album. This one had the So long status quo, I think I just let go. You make me wanna be brave. Classic. Skillet's another one that was like it was like a Christian rock band. I listened to them at Winter Jam a few times. Winter Jam was like this touring, this thing. It's actually probably coming through right about now. It would come through in like January and like February. And it was this big concert with a bunch of Christian bands in it. And it was the coolest thing you could go to as a Christian teenager. Like that was my first experience with like live music. Or one of my first experiences. So Skillet was a classic one. This is the Awake album. Nicole C. Mullen. Now, Nicole C. Mullen, I think, was actually maybe my first concert. I distinctly remember going to the Nicole C. Mullen concert, and that may have been my first one. I'm not sure. But this was the Live from Cincinnati album, which is, even though I don't like live albums in general, I have fond memories of this one. And this one's not actually that old. This one is, I got this a couple years ago from my friend, actually, Sarah Sparks. It's called Into the Lantern Waste, and it's a series of songs based around C.S. Lewis's writings, mostly, I think, the Chronicles of Narnia. It's a good one. I recommend you check it out. It's a nice one. So this was not one I grew up with. This is just a bonus CD that I had that I wanted to plug or whatever. But yeah, so that is my CD collection mostly from my high school years. It really just brings back a lot of memories. It gives you kind of a glimpse into what I was listening to when I was like 13, 14, 15. Like I said, I didn't grow up with as much of the pop punk I didn't grow up with a lot of Paramore or with the boy bands and stuff like that. I was aware of them to various degrees. It's not like I never heard their songs, but it just wasn't what I really grew up just like listening to over and over and over again and owning the albums and stuff like that, because, you know, that just wasn't the house that I was raised up in. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching this first sort of inaugural long form YouTube video for me on this channel. And I really want to do a lot more in 2024. So thank you so much for watching and supporting. To all of the patrons, thank you so much for supporting. If you want to become a patron or whatever, by all means, please do. You can join for as little as $1. The link is in the description, of course. You guys know how YouTube works. I feel like such a clown when I do this. When I do the whole like YouTuber song and dance, it's just like, I mean, I know what YouTubers are supposed to say. I watch a lot of them. Like, I watch more YouTube than I watch TV, but when I actually am the one saying it, it's like, I feel like a dork. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I have a lot more planned in the future. And in the future, probably more like clean and like edited and all that shit. I'm
editing Rynn here. So I just realized that I would be doing y'all a complete disservice if I didn't take a moment to plug my friend Semler. If you want to listen to some Christian rock music that actually kicks ass and is queer as hell, I cannot recommend them enough. They are so great. This is me at their concert a few months ago. This is during Pride Week, actually. They're so good, and I enjoy them so much, and you should absolutely check them out. So, for real. And then they also like make a lot of content on TikTok about like the exact same sort of religious trauma that I'm talking about in this video, and I'm sure they know everybody that I mentioned in this video. So for real, check Semler out. They're really good. I'll put a link to their Spotify in the thing.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.
So is that prophecy? Or is that brainwashing? 'Cause no one ever pitched the Greek gods, and I don't know why not. I think that Athena'd understand me.